Hello and welcome! So, I have just released a major update to my website introducing the layout tool. So in this tool you can arrange your pattern pieces onto a virtual fabric, and this is good for two things. First of all, you can finally determine the amount of fabric you need before you cut it. And second, this layout can then be downloaded in a PDF file, which you can then use with your projector. So you can project it directly onto your fabric and cut from that. So, without further ado, let's move on to my laptop over there and I will show you how you can work with this. Alright, so first we need a pattern piece, of course. So let me just create my daisy pattern. So, and here you have your old links. So this first button leads to the regular printing layout. Of course, you can still download your patterns for printing at home or printing at the shop. And here is the pattern preview and cover. And here is the new button where you can download the single pattern pieces. So if I just do it, then you see I get a zip file, and this is the content of a zip file. So we have 4 files, which are the 4 pattern pieces. And these are SVG files. This is simply a file format for a vector graphic, and you can, in theory, take it to a graphic program and alter it if you want to. As long as you don't change the size of it, you should be able to use it in the layout tool still. So, but usually you just go here to the layout page. And here you can select and upload your zip file with the pattern pieces. So now, usually my website is mobile friendly, but in this specific case, I have to say bigger is better. You can use this tool with a tablet, but I fear a phone screen is simply not large enough. This is not a technical issue, this is just a size issue. So a big screen like I am using here is best, because you then can work very precise. But you can use a tablet, just a phone I fear will not do you good. So, what have we here? On the left, we have the 4 pattern pieces, the front, the back, the sleeve and the neckband. And then you see a toolbar here at the top, which does nothing before we add fabric. And here we can add such fabric. So I need to give it a name. So, for example, black jersey. And I need to add the width, so 140 centimeters. And when I now add the fabric, you will get a canvas, empty at this point. And here you see 140 centimeters width. You see some input fields where you can fold the fabric from the left and from the right. And here's the fabric length, and these settings here I will come later. These are regarding the projector file. So you still see these input fields down here. So you can, in theory, add as many fabrics as you want. So, for example, if you want to make a little bit of color blocking, you can add some red jersey. And to switch between these fabrics, just click here on the right on the button. So the fabric which is opened is the one we are currently working with. So now I add my pattern pieces. So let's start with the front and the back. You might notice that the back has the text mirrored. This is because in the regular printed version, the whole pattern piece is flipped. So you can put the front and the back piece right next to each other with the fabric folded from both sides to the inside. And I'm trying to recreate this right now. So at first the fabric is one single layer, so I need to fold it. So here I fold it 40 centimeters from the left. You see this light gray area indicates the fold from the left. And you also might notice that the fabric pieces seem to have grown. This is because the canvas, when folded, gets smaller in the width. So of course the pattern pieces in relation gets bigger. And when I fold 30 centimeters from the right, indicated here by the darker gray color, and 40 plus 30 is 70, and this is half of our width. So this is exactly the available width. So I have a fold on the left, I have a fold on the right, and I can now take my pattern pieces and simply drag them in place. So the right I want to flip. So I have the button here, the mirror button. And when I click it, my pattern piece gets flipped and I can arrange it here. Now you see that you see that this pattern piece, the back, does not fit onto the folded part on the right here, right? So I need to alter this. So let's do 35 from both sides. Now I can fit both pattern pieces beside each other. Now if I now want to add the sleeve, and you notice this doesn't work because the fabric is folded, I would have in one of my pattern pieces I would need to piece my pattern piece. This is not going to work. So what I can do is I can create a second pattern, a second fabric, which is folded a different way. Or what I'm going to do is I will be putting this on the second fabric. So I can remove the pattern piece by clicking the remove button. I close this fabric, open the second fabric. I add the sleeve, and when I fold it again, this time simply 70 centimeters from the left, and I have now my pattern piece right here, so I can now cut the fabric from here. So if I want to know how much fabric I would need from each of my colors, I would click this button, cut fabric to fit. And when you see the fabric has a little bit of room left, but it is cut to 75 centimeters in length. So I would need these 75 centimeters with this fold layout. And then I need to add another 72 centimeters of fabric. I could probably go to 70. Yeah, that's enough. So I would need to add this, or in this case where I'm working with two different fabrics, I would just cut 75 centimeters from the black and 70 from the red fabric. So of course I would need to add the neckband here. Can I still go with 70? No, that is not enough. But now. So, and let me show you something you can do additionally. So if for one reason or the other you want to remove your pattern piece from your fabric, you can simply click it and then click the remove button. So you see the pattern piece gets then moved back to the left. And what you also can do is you can duplicate a pattern piece. So let me show you some alternative cutting layout. So I will move this down here and I will remove the fabric fold from the right. I will need to flip this back, move it here, and you see now the pattern piece is moved out of the canvas. So I just click Cut Fabric to Fit, and this way we have our uncut pattern piece. Now I can add the sleeve and move it here to this side. Now in this specific case, this would be a bit wasteful because the front and the back do fit right beside each other, but for my specific measurements, this does not work. So both pattern pieces right beside each other does not fit onto 140 white fabric. So I usually do this. So I've placed my sleeve here, but the white fabric part here lays single. So I need to duplicate my pattern piece. I can move it here. And then I need again to mirror it, because we all need a left and a right sleeve. These are not symmetrical. And now I can cut my pattern with this specific layout. You can also angle your pattern. So if you, for example, when you have, for example, a paneled skirt or something, then you might see that flipping your fabric and moving it into each other like a little bit of Tetris, that you can save on fabric. So you can rotate your pattern pieces. So here I enter 180 degrees. This does not work well with this pattern piece, but in theory you can then, this does not make much sense for this pattern piece, but I hope you see where I'm going. Or you know what? Let's get another pattern. Let me get the acacia dress. Okay, back to the layout. So now we have the paneled skirt pieces here. Let me fold the fabric in half. And when I now add this pattern piece, you see I cannot fit these beside each other. But when I rotate it, they magically do. So this is a way to cut a fabric less wasteful. Of course, this does not work every time with every fabric, because if you have a directional fabric, you cannot, or you want not to flip your pattern pieces like this. But in many cases, with my acacia dress I have shown you last week, made out of this red linen, I actually did exactly this. So now you can fit these two pattern pieces right beside each other and save a little bit of fabric. So now, when you are happy with your pattern, then you can actually download you can then see the amount of fabric you need here on the right. Let me just cut the fabric. So if you only want to cut this to pattern pieces, you would need about 70 centimeters of fabric. Now keep in mind that fabric might shrink in the washing machine, so always pre-wash your fabric, at least the washable ones. And add a little bit of extra room to your fabric order, so you don't end up with not enough fabric. So if you're happy with this, then you can now download your cutting layout to use with a projector. And you have two options for this. I have placed a grid into the layout file. This grid is used later to calibrate the projector. And you can choose between 5 centimeters or 2-inch wide grid. And you can choose whether the grid should be displayed over your pattern pieces or on an additional page. So if you don't want to mess with your pattern, you can uncheck this checkbox here. And then you will get your grid, which is absolutely needed to calibrate, on an additional second page in your PDF. So I will recheck this. And then I can download my cutting layout. And here you see are my two skirt pieces and the grid I've spoken about. And this PDF is exactly 70 centimeters wide. And I think it was 72 centimeters long. So this represents your fabric, and all you need to do now is to put your projector on and send this file to your projector, and then you calibrate your projector, and then you can simply cut your fabric directly from the projector without the need to print and cut your pattern pieces. So this is basically the functionality of my layout tool, and I'm excited about this, and I have made some projects already with my projector, and it's very, very useful, especially for the larger files. And I would like to know what you think about this. Do you think this will be useful for you? Are you already working with a projector for cutting your fabric? And is there something that is missing from this tool? Do you want to add something, or do you have any feedback on this? I would like to know. So if you have any questions, just let me know down in the comments, and I'm glad to help. There will be, I think next week, another video where I will show you my projector setup. So this is basically the theory, how I get the projector file. The projector setup itself will then be independent from my website. You can get projector files from many pattern companies, so this will then be kind of a neutral video, like this is still very much specific to my website. So I hope I will see you then in this video about the sewing projector, and until then, bye for now.